Welcome to Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast featuring WVU football players and coaches during Spring Practice 2022. Presented by Country Roads Trust and Encova Insurance. Here are your hosts, Amanda Mazey and Dale Wolfley.
This Climbing the Mountain video podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. Welcome into Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast all about WVU Spring Football Practice 2022, brought to you by Country Roads Trust, West Virginia's name, image, and likeness team, and Encova Insurance. I'm your co-host, Amanda Mazey, along with Dale Wolfley. And Wolf, I tell you what, we are in the last episode of this whole video podcast. We followed spring practice. What do you think? What were your thoughts of spring game?
Well, I thought it was exciting.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Graham Harrell in the offense that he showed out there, taking the deep shots. I thought it made it a lot of fun for the players. They seemed to really enjoy it, feed off of it. And certainly the audience, the Mountaineer Nation of it, that aspect, certainly enjoyed it. So they're excited. I thought it was a great spring game just to kick off and give a lot of enthusiasm going into the season.
Absolutely. So we hope that this whole series really got you excited about football and gave you some inside knowledge. Wolf, I can't thank you enough for your knowledge because you have the kind of football knowledge that I will never, ever have, and I can admit that, so I appreciate everything. Don't forget that you can follow us on social media, and Country Roads Trust will be providing more content like this in the future, so make sure you're up to date on social media and our website, countryroadstrust.com, for all of the good stuff. Follow it, right? Follow Wolf, follow Country Roads Trust, everything.
Absolutely.
And one more thing real quickly. Of course, Country Roads Trust did announce that we are partnering up with Rex Global to provide a fan subscription service. So keep up to date on that. You can go to join.countryroadstrust.com for more information. That's a lot. So coming up next, we are going to just go ahead and start with the head coach Neil Brown, and get his thoughts on the spring and spring game. That is coming up next. Stay with us. This Climbing the Mountain video podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. Welcome back to Climbing the Mountain. It is now time to interview head coach Neil Brown. And Wolf, we have Coach in the house. And Coach, first of all, what did you think about the spring game? I'm sure you've had a chance to watch the film, but your thoughts on just the overall game.
Yeah, first of all, appreciate y'all having me. Glad to be back. It doesn't seem very long ago when we did the first one of these, right?
I know.
Then y'all have had a bunch of our guys on here, which we appreciate. And but no, the spring game was a success. You know, just talking about it big picture wise. Obviously, we had great weather. I thought our fan turnout was really strong. We were able to raise good funds for the Children's Hospital, which is really important. It was very cool. You know, we had about 20 or so families of patients, either current or former patients at the Children's Hospital, so being able to spend that day with them. And then we had a bunch of recruits here. We had all our signees that I say most of our signees, not all of them, but most of our signees that are going to be here at the beginning of June were here. And so just big picture-wise, I thought it was a great day for our program. And then on the field, I was pleased. And spring games are sometimes a mixed bag. You know, we went into it, wanted to play clean football. You know, we have relatively few penalties. I thought we executed offensively, even though we were rotating quarterbacks, which makes it difficult sometimes. But I thought the quarterbacks really rose to the occasion and played pretty well with the television audience there and the people that were in the stands. And I thought defensively we played pretty. We got in good position and tackled when we were playing with the second group there. And then I thought our first group really got in nice position where they could have made several plays. So I thought it was a success. I was pleased. We didn't get anybody hurt. Nobody got any significant injuries, and I thought it showed well. I went back and watched the broadcast, which I appreciate y'all being a part of, and I thought it was very well done. And I thought it looked like clean football.
Yeah, you know, I really thought so too, Coach. And it was nice to see the quarterbacks, as young as they are, step up in front of a live audience, of course, a big TV market, and really go out there and perform and had their own strengths. And they did some good stuff out there. So again, introducing the Graham Harrell offense.
Yeah.
And, you had to have been happy to see it have some success because that made for some fun football.
Yeah, we wanted to stress all spring, hey, we need to be more explosive. We got to make some plays down the field. We've got good speed and we've got good length, with Bryce and KP on the outside. And we've really, for 15 practices, really tried to push the ball downfield. So it was really a positive to see them in a stadium with the crowd and go up and make some of those plays. And the quarterbacks have had a lot of pressure. People forget, these are college students and they're both competing to be, or all three of them are competing to be starters for the first time. And all eyes are on them. And, whether it's this podcast or it's one of the first questions that every media availability you have, it's always about the quarterbacks. And they're on social media. They feel the pressure. They're not immune to it. And so for them to go out and really, outside of a couple bad decisions, operate pretty cleanly. I think it's a credit to them. And the game's really important to them. They all three love West Virginia. They love the competition. They're being good teammates, and they made progress. And so they got to continue to do that. But and Graham has been a real positive addition to us. I think he's got kind of a quiet confidence. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Very humble, but he's got a good swagger about him, and I think our kids have really taken to him. They enjoy playing. I'll tell you a funny story. So Ansley's 11, and on Sunday morning we've got our soccer. We're playing soccer, right? And a buddy of mine, one of the parents, he comes up and he's like, "Yeah, I had to work on Saturday, but I had it on and I'm waiting for him to say, man, Bryce Ford Wheaton, he did a heck of a job, man. He really had a good day." And or hey, Dante, I know he had a couple tackles for a loss, and they're like, "I'll tell you what, that Wolf does a great job." So I'm like, "Oh man, Wolf, I'm serious. That's the first fan. They're like, "Man, Wolf killed it on the broadcast." I'm serious. I thought it was cool.
Well, it's a lot easier to kill when the guys in the field are killing it, because if they're not performing, my goodness, that's not so much fun in the broadcasting world. But that reminds me though, Coach, I think this is the first game where, you kind of left the controls to Graham and of course to Jordan. And how was that for your first time out there, being the CEO, but, really doing a lot of observing?
Yeah. So I stayed out of the way and really trying to manage. So as you all know, we've got 2 hours, man. The spring game is a TV production, right? So we went 2:01. So I misjudged it by 1 minute, but no, it's a production. So, and I think it's really important for the spring game that everyone has an opportunity. And so I thought in this spring game, the quarterback reps with the ones was something we wanted to make sure was even. We wanted to make sure that they all had relatively the same number of reps. You can't get them all exactly the same, but we wanted to try to get them as close as we could. And then we wanted to make sure everyone had an opportunity to play. And so, and then we had that 2 hour time frame that we needed to do that as well. So I just sat back and managed it. The way we did it, I really enjoyed how we did it. I think the players liked it, where we split into two distinct teams. They had a big time with Chad Scott being the head coach and Andrew Jackson being the head coach, and then Graham called it for one side, Sean Reagan called it for the other. Jordan Leslie called it on one side of the defense, and then Shadon Brown called it on the other side. So there was really true division there. And so it added some competitive nature to it. And part of that is I have to police that as well, because, sometimes they want to do a little bit more tackling than they should. Sometimes I wanted to stay real vanilla. We weren't going to motion on offense. We weren't going to do anything on defense where we blitzed, and they're trying to sneak things in, trying to win the game. So I'm like, hey, guys, listen, main thing is it needs to look good, and our players need to have confidence coming out. So, but no, it was a fun day, and I enjoyed that piece of it.
Let's talk about Preston Fox on the field. He had a standout day. I think the fans were excited, maybe a little shocked because he's not somebody who, is really well known. He will be, it sounds like. So talk about his performance that day, and also the scholarship afterwards. Was that planned? Was that on the fly? Like, that was a really special moment.
Yeah, so Preston, he's still signing autographs here a couple days later.
I just saw him out in the parking lot, actually.
No doubt. Yeah, he's probably still got a crowd around him, right? Hometown hero. And I told him, I met with him a little while ago. I was like, it does get better than this, right? I mean, like, this can't be the peak, okay? So But no, the best moment for me, like so he's made a bunch of contested catches during the spring. So before I went to that soccer game on Sunday, I'm running on my treadmill at home, trying to just to maintain, right? I'm not doing anything special. I'm just running on my treadmill, and I'm watching Sports Center, and they're doing the top 10, and all of a sudden there at the number 2 spot is Preston Fox, Morgantown High's Preston Fox, and I about fell off the treadmill, man. I was like, this is so cool. But no, so it got to a point probably at some point during week 3, of spring practice, where Preston had progressed enough and to get a scholarship. This way we always think about it. First of all, character-wise, you got to be doing the right things. Second of all, academically, you got to be in good standing. Third thing is you got to have the intangibles necessary. Then the fourth thing is you got to be productive and either be starting on 2 or more special teams or be in the 2 deep. And so Preston has always done well academically. He's done well character-wise. He's got the intangibles. And he had shown through 3 weeks of spring that he had an opportunity to be in the 2 deep, and he was probably going to be at least 2-team special teams player. And so then I think there's some good spontaneous action sometimes. And so he went and made that play. The guys were fired up. It was fresh in their mind. I knew his parents were at the game. I think that's something we really try to do, is bring the parents in, because who's sacrificing for the last 2 years of school that he's, I'd love to tell you Preston's paying for it out of his pocket, but that's not the case, right? His parents have sacrificed for that. So we try to bring the parents in and let them be a part of that. And for them to come in the locker room and then for our team to experience that with Preston and his family was really special.
When did you tell the parents? Like, was this like during the game, before
the
game?
I sent Patrick Johnston, who's our director of football operations. I sent him up and I said, hey, let's go find – I know Preston's mom and dad are here, I'm sure. Let's get them to meet us outside the locker room, and we'll have something special for them. So Patrick got the scholarship paperwork done kind of in the fourth quarter. We found his parents, and we went with it.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, talk
fun.
about like the icing on the cake. Preston didn't even know like that performance and just the scholarship, and what a great day for him.
I hate to say it, but I think I'm the only one that cries.
No, I cried. I was just like, when you were just talking about the parents sacrificing, like I had tears in my eyes.
It never gets tiring to see. No, it really doesn't. And what was so cool about that was the team. You didn't even have to say his name.
They
already knew
Yeah.
that it was PF. And Coach. So with that being said, this is the 6th podcast that we've done here. As you know, you started out with us, and every single one of the players have talked about how great the locker room is, how great it's about the team, how great it's not this click over here and that click here. It's bigger clicks, bigger, half and half, defense hanging with offense. I can just keep going on down the list because we've had so much of it.
Right.
And just talk about that locker room, because you could see with Preston Fox just how happy they were for a teammate. It was awesome.
Well, we've made some intentional changes this semester, and there's a lot going on in college athletics, man. And it's not just football; it's men's basketball. It's across the board, and it's getting harder. It's really getting harder. It's getting harder as a student athlete, and you're getting pulled in so many different directions. And there's the transfer portal. There's name, image, likeness, and so we're intentional about this spring semester. Is okay. Let's get back to the main things. Let's keep the main things, and let's do it in an environment where we can have fun. Okay. And that's what we've really been intentional about. And we had some addition, or we had some subtraction, or addition by subtraction is the best way to put it. And not necessarily bad guys, just guys with some agendas. And I think that our guys have rallied around. We're working at a high level. I think when you have an opportunity where some of your best players are your best people, and your hardest workers, and you got a chance to be successful. And so I think our staff's had a lot to do with it. They've been intentional about relationships. That's something we've got to continue to build on. And it's been a more enjoyable experience for our players and for our staff. This has been a fun group to coach. Are we a perfect? By no means. Do we have a lot of work to do before Pittsburgh? Absolutely. Does having a locker room that's probably more united guarantee wins? No, I wish it would, but I think it does create momentum. And we've got a group where we're going to add 18 scholarship players and probably 15 or more walk-on summer, and we've got to continue to grow that unity. We've got to add some pieces, without a doubt. We've got our first group is really good, probably on both sides, but we've got to add some depth. We've got to create depth by either maturing the guys that are here, or we got to go get some pieces. But it's a fun group. I like where we're at. I understand that we're not a finished product, though.
You're watching Climbing the Mountain, sponsored by Encova Insurance, and circling you with coverage. Coach, final question from me. When do you start to get excited about the fall and about the season starting?
Yeah, so I think it kind of builds. There's a couple different points for me is, really the focus now is on our guys finishing academically, and retaining the majority of our roster. We probably won't retain them all, but retaining the majority of our roster. And then how they handle the month of May. It's important. Like, the month of May is the biggest chunk of time that football student athletes get off, and they need it. It's rest, relaxation. They need it to get away and decompress a little bit. And then we come back in June, and that's when some momentum builds, because then you have really probably 95% of your football team that you're going to have in the fall. That's the first time they're together. Okay. And then the coaching staff, there's a recruiting dead period. And when the coaching staff comes back toward the end of July, then there's another build of momentum. And then you get in fall camp. And so, like I said, I like this group. It's a fun group to coach. But we have work to do. And we're going to hit pause here for a little bit, let them do finals, let them get away from a while. And then when we get back on Memorial Day, it's kind of when we kick this thing off again. And we've got 8 weeks to get ready for fall camp.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll wrap it up with this. How good was the steak for the victors?
So listen to this changing world, Wolf. Like, you and I win, we're choosing steak. I know you are. Like, and I am too. I'm choosing steak. These guys, they're choosing boneless wings and wings.
I heard about this.
Yeah,
actually.
they went because the captains of the winning team got to choose.
Really?
Oh yeah, and they went wings, pizza. Now our people here, our performance chef that's at our training table and our nutritionist, they do a really good job. Now they do a mean homemade pizza, and they like this sauce that the guys that they whip up, and so they went wings and pizza.
That's awesome.
You can't deny it. You can't beat wings. I mean, steak, yes, okay. I mean, but, wings are like a really close second. So
Yeah.
I'll go with that as well.
All right, Neil Brown, thank you so much for joining us. And we can't thank you enough for your access to your coaching staff, your players, allowing us to be in this audio booth. It was a pleasure, and we hope we portrayed your program the way you want it to be portrayed. The guys were amazing, and we appreciate everything that you
Appreciate
let
y'all's
us do.
time. Appreciate
Yeah.
everybody listening. Look forward to getting this rolling again, okay? Thank you all.
All right. Thanks a lot, Head Coach Neil Brown. All right, Wolf. So I'm going to kick you out for a little while because we have a special treat. We're going to have some guest hosts, football players in this seat. They have big shoes to fill. That is coming up on our next segment of Climbing the Mountain. Stay with us, everyone. This Climbing the